Okay, well, it seems like everybody is here. Everybody has joined. We're ready to get this first UpWind Speaker Series going. This is session 1, and it's called Catch Up. This is an inclusive webinar, so I will start by introducing myself with my self-descriptors. I'm Natasha Gonzalez. I am in my late 40s, although I don't look it. I am Hispanic, although I don't look it as well. I'm wearing a red jacket because I'm a Latina and I like bright colors. So thank you for joining us today. Our speakers are Francesca Clapcich, skipper of UpWind by MerConcept, Michaela Robinson, the youngest sailor in the team, Giard, team manager of UpWind by MerConcept, and Jeremy Pochman, CEO and founder of 11th Hour Racing and founding partner of UpWind by MerConcept. The aim of these recorded and shared monthly online webinars is to keep in contact with the about 120 applicants to UpWind by MerConcept. But it's also open to all Magenta Project mentees and alumni, but not exclusively. Anyone who is interested can join. This initiative is to support all sailors in your professional development, skills, and employability opportunities. Today, we are kicking off this monthly Zoom meeting featuring guest speakers and inspirational role models for sailors to network, educate, share experiences, and collaborate on opportunities for professional growth. This first webinar is to catch up, explain how the UpWind by MerConcept team was selected, and to launch this new series of discussions. I'll give you a little preview of the next series coming up. In November, we'll be talking about overcoming adversity in elite sport. And in December, the theme is No Need for Sight when you have a vision. What blindness can teach us about risk and leadership. UpWind by MerConcept is a program that aspires to reshape the narrative of ocean racing, imagining a more inclusive and welcoming sporting community. Launched this year by MerConcept with founding partner 11th Hour Racing, this Ocean 50 project will allow sailors from all walks of life to sail at a high level while benefiting from the best professional supervision available, whether at sea in contact with the best or on land with extremely qualified technical teams. During this session, we will dive into the stories of 2 key members of the Ocean 50 UpWind team, tracing their inspiring journeys from their early days in sailing to competing at the highest levels. We will also hear from 11th Hour Racing and founding partner of the program, as well as from MerConcept team manager. This talk will offer unique insights into how the program offers unparalleled professional development, both at sea and on land, to help sailors achieve their full potential. Whether you're part of the program or looking for future opportunities, this is the chance to learn about various career pathways in ocean racings, connect with fellow sailors, and hear from industry experts. I now want to invite our speakers to present themselves. I encourage self-descriptors for an inclusive webinar experience. So, Jeremy Pochman, thank you for being with us today. Go right ahead.
Bonsoir à tous. It's so nice to be here, and thank you, everybody. I'm Jeremy Pochman. Probably defer to he, him as my pronouns. I'm just super excited to be here. We just got off the water. Francesca and the rest of the team took us out for a sail, and we're in Saint-Maxime, France for the final act of the event, and it was really extraordinary being on the water. It's great to get our hair wet and feel the wind in our face and sail this boat around and hopefully sail towards an exciting and important future together. Really excited to be here. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Okay, I will add a little bit to that. He was very modest with his introduction. He was educated in France and stateside with a penchant for math and solutions. He worked at Nantucket Community Sailing as director of operations and sailed many miles on the classic yawl Impala. Jeremy has dual degrees in English and French and is a licensed USCG captain. Through 11th Hour Racing, Jeremy's goal is to underscore the bonds between human and water and land through sailboat racing, recognizing that we can push each other to find better solutions for better sailing practices. Thank you very much for that introduction. Next is Louis Giard.
Hi everyone, I'm super happy to be here and super excited to be part of this project. I'm 31 years old. I grew up in La Trinité-sur-Mer in France, and I'm a former windsurfer. I spent many years sailing Olympic class, Ever 6, and then IQ foil. I also had the opportunity in 2021 to race for an Ocean 50 team, and here I am. I joined 11 Tower Racing and UpWind by MerConcept this winter for this incredible project, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you for that introduction. So his story of transition is a statement to passion, experience, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. It's very great to have you on this team. Francesca Clapcich, you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. I'm Francesca Clapcich. Most of people call me Frankie. My pronouns are she, her. I'm originally from Italy, but I moved to the US 7 years ago. In November, I will get my citizenship, so that's quite exciting. The first ever female skipper in the Ocean 50 class. It's an honor. It's an honor to be, the first is something, but at the same time, it's also showing how much need there is for a project like UpWind by MerConcept and a lot of support like 11-hour racing, professional sailor. And I'm so happy to be here with everybody and sharing our story and hearing story from everybody in the chat too.
2 Olympic Games, US America's Cup team, and you have the ambition of doing the Vendée Globe in 2028, which is setting sail here very soon, the 10th of November. From Les Sables d'Olonne. Michaela Robinson, last but not least.
Hi everyone, I'm Michaela Robinson. I'm originally from a little mining town in South Africa. I'm wearing a navy blue UpWind shirt. I've got dark curly hair. I'm 24 years old. Yeah, I've recently immigrated over to the UK to be closer to all of the sailing action. And yeah, super honored and super happy to be here.
Okay, Michaela grew up dinghy sailing with her family, winning the Mirror World Championship at only age 13 and winning a second title 2 years later. More recently, she has turned her focus to offshore sailing, winning her division in the Cap to Rio race in 2020. And for the past year, alongside her sailing in the US and Europe, has been working in business development for sailing academies. Thanks for joining us, all of you. We're going to get this discussion started. So set the scene for us. What is the current sailing landscape? Francesca, why don't you pick up on that, and maybe Jeremy can fill in after you're done.
I mean, the actual sailing landscape is, promising. That's what I always try to look at. I was looking forward and look into the positive part of the sport and what we're doing. Compared to when I grew up, 30 years ago when I was sailing Opti, and there was no really representation. I never thought that one day I could be, doing an ocean race or being an Ocean 50, racing with, professional team, or doing an America's Cup. Things changed dramatically in the last few years. At the same time, though, if we get, the other side of the coin, a couple of years ago, Claire and Elodie raced at a double-handed event with the Ocean 50, and they were the only 2 female competitor in the entire fleet. The bar is not set high enough, and that's why we are all pushing with projects like UpWind, and we're trying to just get more time on the water, more opportunities at a really high level and in a professional way.
Jeremy, you have anything to add to that?
Francesca's perspective on it is absolutely correct, and it's also very optimistic. I think, like with most things, it comes down to access and opportunity, and I think that sailing is a particularly difficult thing to have access to. It requires a lot of equipment. It requires a boat. It requires a lot of things. It requires access to the water. And for la course au large, for offshore sailing, it's important to have access to the ocean. I was lucky enough to grow up and be thrust into that sort of access because of a friend of mine's father had a boat, and I recognized that it was extra easy for me to continue to build upon that because I fit the prototype of most sailors, which is male. And I think that's a real challenge, and that's a real hurdle that's an extra hurdle that I did not have to overcome. And I think that it's a very real hurdle that many people are faced, whether it is economic boundaries, whether it's gender or race or other things. Sometimes it's intentional and sometimes it's buried deep inside. And so where I get my inspiration and optimism and hope is through the good work and the challenge that at MerConcept that Francesca and her team are doing, that the folks on my team at 11th Hour Racing are really pushing the challenge and then look to change this and remove some of these barriers to access, because once we have that, we can all grow together and we can all start to really do and create some really remarkable and incredible things.
What is the intention of the program? How does it differ to, and maybe Louis, you can fill in here too. How does it differ to or complement other sailing programs that are out there?
Wow, I could speak about this for probably the rest of the hour if we had it, so I'll try to keep it quick. I think it's visible for those of you who have an opportunity to come and explore one of the UpWind acts. I really recommend it. You can see the inspiration and the joy that this team is bringing to the entire fleet and to the entire community, and it's really wonderful. Being new to it myself, I can even feel the palpable difference that they bring. I think of a sailboat as a wonderful system where you really get to create all of the elements, and you control all of the elements that are inside and outside the boat, and you use them to propel the boat forward. And it matters who you pick on board. And I think that working with MerConcept as like a technical performance and industry leader and the ethos that they bring, it was a clear partnership. And Francesca and her team have brought the same thing from the skipper side and the sailing team side. And it's I think been this incredible collaboration already, even though it's only a few months old really. And yeah, like I said, I could go on for hours, but maybe you want to add a little bit here.
Yeah, Louis, can you tell us, how many teams like this are there? How unique is UpWind by MerConcept?
I think it's definitely the only one. And as Jeremy said, this is something really special we bring into the fleet and into the offshore sailing world at the moment. I think it's an issue we have in the world for a long time now, and especially in our sport too. The starting point of this, or maybe the latest we can have, is the last start of the Route du Rhum with only 7 women on 138 boats on the starting line, and not even a single woman at the helm of a multi-hull. So this is something we really would like to change. If I can add, women have a huge history too with multi-hulls. We know all the story with Florence Artaud, with Hélène MacArthur, with Karine Fauconnier. This is something that has a huge history, and we want to bring more women to the offshore sailing world. We want to bring more women to these fast multi-hull boats and create more diverse team. And this is something that since the beginning of the project has a really huge impact on the offshore sailing world, and we can be very proud of what we are doing. But as Jeremy said too, there is so much more to do now.
Take us behind the scenes, Louis. How did the application process work in detail? What was the selection criteria? Why were people chosen?
I think it was really new for us to build this selection process. First of all, we received 120 applications, which was a surprise, but not a surprise, because it shows how important it was to build this program for women. So we were really proud that it has a huge impact on the women and offshore sailing world. Secondly, unfortunately, we had to select women to join this event. So we tried to build the fairest and the clearest process for them to join our boat and our season. Then it was really interesting, and as a man, to listen all the story they shared to us during the selection week and the interview we did, because I saw how many issues they are facing to have opportunities in our sailing world. So it was really impressive to see them fighting to have those opportunities. And they also, it was impressive how good the atmosphere was between all of them. It creates really something, and a pool of women around the project. We are very proud of this, and we would like to keep this pool around the project and try to involve them as much as we can. So it was a unique experience.
Great. And this webinar is the start of that, to involve everybody and keep them informed and give them future opportunities. So thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure you send us your questions for the Q&A there in the chat. Frankie, what were you trying to achieve with this specific combinations of skills and attitudes?
You know, the selection, I think, has been like one of probably the most challenging part of our project. Because I grew up in the sport where, you know, friends are just keep calling their friends, and, you know, it's just being the same bunch of friends being on boats, and there's not so much space for other people to join, you know, and to get an opportunity. And that was absolutely the goal, to try to just open it up and make it more fair. But at the same time, we didn't have a lot of other examples, so we kind of built our own criteria, our own, you know, spreadsheet. In the beginning, you know, in the first few weeks, we didn't got a lot of applications, and it was like, maybe we're doing something wrong. And then suddenly, you know, the applications start coming in, and you get, you know, 120 applications that you want to go through.
The word got out
properly, you know, to make it fair. It's not just scrolling around, it's like reading and understanding what kind of profile you have in your hands. I personally never sailed on an Ocean 50 before, so I didn't really have a massive experience of what is needed or not. But at the same time, you know, there are some skills that require to be in a team environment, and they are not just technical skills. It's also, you know, human skills, how you connect with other people. It's about respect. It's about listening to each other and hearing each other perspective, and I think that's the biggest part. You know, most of the sailors that we have in a sailing team, I really just start to know them, and for me, that's probably be the best part of this whole process, is that we are able to race together, we are able to have discussions, we are able to disagree in a lot of things, and then find agreement because we all really want to work together, and all that become from not really being best friends, you know, it becomes from going through the process. And we might not have done, you know, perfect. I think that perfect probably doesn't exist, but we tried really hard to make it as fair as possible and give, you know, the best shot to everybody to be part of a team.
Well, Michaela, take us through the specific, through your perspective as an applicant. What was your experience like?
What a whirlwind it was. So when I first put in the application, it was kind of, for me, it was, you know, I'm just going to send it in because no harm, no foul, you know, what's the worst that can happen is they deny you. And from the get-go, it was just so inclusive. I actually can't begin to describe it. I was extremely nervous when I got the call from Louis saying that, look, you've been selected. You're coming to France for a selection week. And I was like, oh, man, that's so cool. And honestly, I was like, I was going to be happy if that was the end of my journey. I would have been happy with having been selected out of those applicants and just being at the selection week with women in sailing that I've literally looked up to, I've admired, and I've received coaching from. And now you're suddenly in the same bowl as them, and you know, you're all trying to make it onto the team. But at the same time, no one was out to get you. It was everyone wanted everyone there to succeed. And that was incredibly special. And then yeah, the actual week was, like I said, an absolute whirlwind. It was a mixture of
Up as well.
yeah, a mixture of physical tests, a bit of technical tests, and then obviously sailing. And the sailing was very interesting for me because I had never sailed on DMs or on an Ocean 50 before. But the way that they went about like the selection process and marking you as you were sailing was they put a different selector on each boat for one race per day. So it was never the same selector that was watching you sail. It was always someone different. So it was always a different perspective. It was always different pieces of advice coming in. And you also never sailed with the same people. So it was just this exponential learning curve that I thought couldn't get any bigger. And then I managed to join the team, and now the learning curve is no longer a curve, it's like a 90-degree line.
Well, congratulations, and we will come back to more on that. Jeremy, what is the culture you are trying to create?
I mean, I would like to think it's the culture everybody wants to create, and that's a world driven by respect. The strongest systems are ones that listen to each other and they grow and evolve. No, any system that stops growing and evolving is frozen, and after a certain while, it stops to function and it starts to die. So to move forward, we have to listen to each other, whether that's in the same boat or in the same room together, or it's to look forward to future generations and work with and towards that future with them. And I think that to do all of that, you start from a place of listening, you start from a place of communication, and that's how you grow and you see things together and you grow together. And what that leads to very concretely is a place that's built upon respect and trust. And those are two of the key elements on any boat in particular. You have to trust the people you're out sailing with, whether it's to sail across the bay or across the ocean or around the world. And without that, it becomes a lot more difficult, and your chance of success and safety go way down. So maybe it's a bit traumatic to compare going to the office and writing some emails to sailing alone around the world, but I think that we aspire to be the best we can, and I think that I'm proud to say that a lot of people in this room, the ones I know and the ones I don't know, I know represent that high standard, and it's pretty humbling and wonderful to be surrounded by it.
Thank you. Louis, this culture, how has it impacted the team as a whole, the sailors and the technical team as well?
I think those diverse and international teams are so interesting because we all have different perspective and vision to prepare. So we know we have our French culture. The offshore sailing world is mostly French sometimes, and to have those different people bringing their skills, bringing their positive attitude to the project is so much interesting, and it questions yourself in your work. I think it questions the technical team, but also myself sometimes. Okay, it's different perspective, it's another way of doing it, but it's great. And I think the pool we have created around the project is what is interesting in this is that you bring so many more knowledge and so many more diverse things to our crew and to our team that makes you even better for the future.
Frankie, after the ocean race and joining UpWind by MerConcept, what has happened? What has changed? What has your experience been like?
Me to like echo Jeremy and Louis. You know, it's I found sport being the mirror of society. You know, and it's been pretty interesting to use our platform, that in this case is sailing and sport, to show that a team where there is respect, where people feel, you know, that they feel safe and heard, and there's never like the stupid question, you know, or someone being shy asking something because the judgment of someone else. That should be something we all experience in society, no matter where you are. If you are on a boat, in an office, or you know, taking the bus to go somewhere. And I feel in the last few years we got really far away as society to that standard. You know, we have a lot of hate, a lot of, you know, judgment, a lot of, you know, unrespect for a lot of stuff, and it's not where I want, you know, my kid to grow up. Is not where I personally don't want to grow up, and that's where we want to really build that in our teams. And I personally experienced, you know, an incredible team with 11-hour racing during the ocean race, and the team was made by, you know, more than 40 people between technical team and sailing team, and working together towards the same objective. And I think with UpWind is pretty similar, where, you know, some of us might sail the boat, others might be in the management role, someone else is in the technical team, and we all, you know, respect each other. There's, as in every, you know, big family, you have moments where everybody's happy to have a meal together, and sometimes, you know, someone has to take a little break, and at the same time we just grow up from that situation, and we come back stronger as a team and as a people. And that's what changed for me a little bit after the ocean races. You know, okay, this is amazing. It's, you know, we just won this thing, and we have the media around, we have interviews, we have photo. What's the next step? How can we use all this? How can we use this sport? How can we use performance as success to do something more and to use our voice? Because that, you know, where I feel right now, I'm like 36, and winning is amazing, and performing on the water is amazing, going sailing is amazing, but I needed something more than that. I needed to like really make sure that, you know, my voice was getting heard, and I can use, you know, these webinars and media and the press to just share what we're doing. And if we can all do that together and share our good experience and how we felt that we belong in teams, and how that, you know, enhance our performance as a person, that will be a massive step forward.
How about you, Michaela? Going from applicant to team member, was it what you expected?
Oh no, definitely not. It was way better than I expected. I was very nervous about it, and you say team member, but what UpWind by MerConcept has created with 11th Hour Racing is a little family. So you say team member, I say family member, same really. It's incredible to be part of a campaign that's so purpose-driven. So you've got an incredible sponsor like 11th Hour Racing, who are just incredible. And then you have your skipper, someone like Frankie, and both of them and then MerConcept, and all three coming together to actually make a difference. Because what we see quite often is everyone talks about it. Everyone talks about the lack of opportunities and how difficult it is to actually penetrate the professional sailing world, especially being a woman, but then also being from an emerging nation like South Africa. And yeah, they've done something incredibly special to not only give people like me the opportunity to be part of the team, but also to grow within the team. So yeah, it's I'm lost for words right now, but it's been a mind-blowing experience. I think everyone has their preconceived ideas of how a professional sailing team works and what to expect. And honestly, all of my expectations were blown. You were involved in everything, from technical team stuff to the actual sailing. Everyone just wants you to learn, and everyone wants to see you succeed. and everyone wants to see the project succeed and our message going out to the public and actually making a difference in the sailing world. So yeah.
Thank you. Frankie, what skills are required to be the best in the business? How do they develop these skills? Maybe Louis can.
I got a tricky question. I think it's a lot of hard work. You know, you can't get stuff done and you can't really grow if you don't work hard for it. Curiosity. I think, you know, no matter which age and what the journey has been, that the only way forward is to keep being curious, you know, and keep trying to find the next answer and try to find, you know, the next solution. And determination. I think everybody here in this, you know, virtual room has really, really high goals, really big dreams. And it takes sometimes a bit of luck, but it's most of the time really hard work. And I know a lot of people now are, you know, looking maybe back and be like, oh, I heard that comment, you know, hey, it's so easy for you. It's so easy for you. I'm like, maybe sometimes, yes, it's easy now, but it's been really hard in the past, you know. And what it's easy to see is like that 1 or 2 times that you're winning something. What people don't see is the million times that you lost a lot, or the hours that you work so hard, you know, in the gym or everywhere where no one is there. You're the only one there. So I do believe that it's like trusting the process, and the process sometimes is hard, and it's keep going, you know. Every time you lose something, it makes you a bit stronger, a bit harder, and keep believing that it's going to be possible. You know, we have tons of examples now that show us a bit more the way, and this is a bit also the objective of UpWind, you know, is showing the new generation, the little girls, that we can do hard thing. We can do it also with, you know, sometimes a smile on the face, and still being pretty fast. And if you know, allow me the comment, pretty badass out there, and that's okay. So yeah, I believe it's a lot of dedication and taking also with a good spirit.
We're going to be moving into Q&As here real soon. Louis, if you can just tell us, can you discuss a little bit the project's vision for supporting the evolution of gender equity in the circuit, in the Ocean 50 circuit?
I think it's we would like to continue to bring more and more women to this world. What is interesting is that during the Act 2 of the 2024 season, we did a conference with different sailors around the table, some men, but also some women. And all the teams were around the table. Everybody was listening, and it was really impressive how it impact the vision of everyone into the fleet. We say this a little bit at the beginning, but once again, this is something really, really special. Some team in the fleet already started this process. For example, a skipper announced that in 2026, a woman will take the helm of his boat for the next Route du Rhum, but we have so much more to do. I don't like to go to a rule to bring more women to offshore sailing. Sometimes it looks you have to do it, but in the end, without it, we see that it's not completely working. At the moment in the fleet, we have women on board boats, but not on all of the boats. So this is clearly the objective to continue this work, and also that in the future, all the women that sail with UpWind by MerConcept, it helps them to develop their own career and continue. Maybe they will continue sailing, but they will also find a passion for a technical job or management role. And this is what we are trying to bring with this process. It's the wide angle of what is our sport is built.
And last, Jeremy, could you tell us a little bit about the vision and the plan for 2025? How applicants will look going forward?
Well, I mean, I think 2025 is just the next step. as with
Just
all
the long-term vision, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. All important change takes a long time. We will continually hit challenges. We will have hurdles to overcome. And this is not going to be an easy fix. If it were, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. And so 2025 is going to be like really exciting because I think what 2025 will be a demonstration. 2024 is a formative year. It was our first year and it was our kickoff year. But how do we move forward? And to move forward, we have to grow, we have to evolve. And in 2025, we'll get to explore what that looks like. And we will get to start to see how what we're creating in each pool of applicants is not just a 1 year and done, but the goal is where does that lead to? Where does that go to? And so that hopefully 2025 is the next and very important step in this evolution and in this process of growth. But it's going to see more and more of the applicant pool ending up as skips, as sailors, as boat captains, on the shore team, leading the shore teams, and doing the design work. And we're going to start to see more boats designed by, but also designed for women. I mean, it's got to be uncomfortable to always have to fit into somebody else's old shoes. And I wouldn't want to wear them all the time. And so what can we do to really look into the future? So 2025 is going to be a great year. And so will 26 and on. So
Definitely. Thank you so much for all those comments, for sure. I think that women do sail differently, and I've seen it with Samantha Davis. Now we're going to take everybody's questions. Okay, so we have our first question. Is the Ocean 50 what you expected in terms of how it sails, and what is it like to maneuver as a team?
It's a super fun boat, it's really competitive, really fast. It's challenging, it's a multi-hull, it's a trimaran. So when you're maneuvering, you have to maneuver a platform that is really big. So the coordination between the team has to be pretty spot on to make sure that there is a right balance on the boat to be able to turn it properly. But the racing has been, super tight, and we are doing a mix between, inshore racing with like windward, leeward courses, and then coastal events, and then big offshore racing. Next year there will be the Jacques Vabre, in 2026 the Rodoram. Like the class has a really incredible mix of different skills required really to race, and that's what it makes it really interesting.
Do you feel like the Ocean 50 is a good platform to grow the confidence and skills of female sailors? That was another question.
I think so. I think it's a great platform overall to grow a lot of confidence, not only for females, but overall for sailors. We don't have a keel underneath. So like if you do some big mistake, the boat flip over, that is not nice for sure. And at the same time, the boat is always really, really overpowered. It brings some challenges, as Jeremy was mentioning. Like most of the boats are made, designed, and built for strong, big guys, and we can't compete with that. We are not as strong as some big grinders. So we need to find a way to go around the course that is slightly different, and use our skills in a different way to be efficient. And at the same time, with the team at MerConcept, we were thinking about how to, make the boat better, getting our refit to make it more efficient for our style of sailing. But the quality of racing, the quality of the boat is quite incredible.
I don't know if somebody else wants to pick up the next question. Which class of boats would you say build skills that are useful for the Ocean 50? Like what would be the step up?
Yeah, maybe I can take it. I think it's not very clear. For example, if you want to sail in the Olympics, you know exactly the way to go. You need to sail an Optimist, then you will do 420. You will be big enough to go for the 470. It's not very clear actually the pathway to offshore sailing. What's for sure is that you need to sail the most as you can on every type of boats. yes, if you can sail some fast boats, it will be very helpful, because then when you will climb on the Ocean 50, it will be not something be very new. We also have a lot of multi-hull specialists. This is something also special to sail a multi-hull. So the most experience you can have on every type of boats, you need to take it because it will be helpful for the future. Also, yes, if you had the opportunity to go sailing offshore, this is something really helpful. But once again, you don't need a competitive boat or a racing boat to go sailing offshore. So the most time you spend on the water, the most better it is for your future. And as Frankie said, also, I think the Ocean 50 is a really nice platform in the future because you do so many type of races. Like we have the small inshore, really intense races. You have the coastal races that you have a little bit more time, but you need to look more at the forecast, how the landscape is to do the right options. And then you have the big transatlantic. And this is something really nice with this platform in the end, because it can bring many type of sailors to racing. And I think it's really nice.
Is the rest of the Ocean 50 class welcoming of the UpWind team? All heads are shaking. Good. Let's see, another question. What surprised you most when you arrived on the Ocean 50 circuit? Maybe, Michaela?
I think the thing that surprised me most was, again, it just blows my mind, especially from sailing dinghies as a youngster and going to youth worlds and stuff, where all of the teams are very serious and everyone sticks to themselves. But then this is my first event with the team, and again, I keep using the word inclusive and friendly, but that, there isn't really another word to describe it. It's a very special class, and I think, or the vibes that we're getting is that everyone in the fleet really likes UpWind by MerConcept and what we're promoting. So yeah, all in all, I think it's a great series and great class to be part of.
Next question: what advice would you give to a young woman just starting off to launch her sailing career?
Don't give up. The beginning might be hard, and every opportunity to go sailing in any boat is just an incredible growing opportunity. I grew up as a kid on a small boat with my family, and we were sailing around, and then I had an all broken up to just sail in my little harbor. And at the end is all stuff that gets you better and get just like in love with the sport. And at the same time, like you never know when you're gonna meet someone that is gonna get you to the next steps, or making some networking on the docks with other people, especially when you're super young. I think it's about miles. It's about having the opportunity to go out, sail and racing, and learn from other people that already know how to do it. And if you don't have a massive opportunity in your own sailing club or in your own community because you don't have access to sailing clubs or good coaching, still like being on the water is so important. And every little opportunities is it's just don't give that up, because in the big picture, in the long term, it will definitely come into play.
How do you think women with plenty of professional experience in other industries than sailing make the next step into the sailing industry? And do you think there are enough opportunities to make professional sailing viable for the growing number of women eager to advance?
All the questions. I think that overall the sailing industry has so many different aspects. We think about boats and we think about sailors. It's not just about that. Like, I will never be able to go sailing. Our team will never be able to go on the water without a really bigger team behind the scene. And we're talking about the technical side of it, engineers, boat captains, riggers, but also the logistical side of it, the managing side, the communication and media. There is a massive world out there. that it's so far away from both. You know, you might never been on a boat, but you can still be an incredible, you know, storyteller or an incredible communication person, and just, you know, grow the profile of that sailing team. So I do think there are massive amount of skills that are completely transferable to the sport. And in this case, we're talking about sailing, but there are probably a lot of sports out there that has the same, you know, working force behind the pure like team that is playing in the field. And I think the industry is also quite open in that position. So, you know, we have a lot of campaigns happening from, you know, the Ocean Race, Olympics, IMOCAs, Ocean 50s, and all these teams need a lot of support.
Okay, and the last question, what is your opinion on the different mandated formats of female inclusion in sailing? Is there one that is providing more successful in creating equal opportunities for women, or two, promoting a pathway for more women? Thinking, comparing an all-female team in a class like F50 or imposed minimum quota. That's sort of like what you were talking about, Louis, of female on board like SailGP, or separate women events like AC37.
I'll start at least, and I'm sure if people have some other thoughts. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one of the challenges is that there are so many different types of classes and so many different platforms. I do not think there's one particular answer. I think the MerConcept approach to create a team that's focused on this is a beautiful approach. I think the Ocean Race has demonstrated a lot of success, first by giving multiple options for the number of crew members you could have. It wasn't mandated, but it opened up a great amount of possibility 2 iterations ago. And then that evolved to mandating 1 female on board, and that's given opportunity. I don't think that's the perfect solution, but it's a really, really, really important one. But it's going to take a lot. It's going to take people going out there, and as Frankie, you said, it's really important to keep trying, because it is going to be hard, and it's going to be challenging for anybody, wherever you come from and whoever you are. And so it's going to be hard. So just keep going when it is hard, and keep asking. And I think more and more sponsors, not just us, you know, more and more sponsors is becoming an important conversation, an important central core tenet, as is sustainability in general. And I think these are great opportunities to create new and different approaches to it. So I think there's lots of ways, but there's no one answer, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot to cover. We're going to wrap this up. There were some questions about sponsorship, which you started to tap into there, Jeremy, at the end. I know there's a lot to talk about, and just not enough time. We thank everybody for joining this first speaker series today. There will be more, and today was sort of like a catch-up, so there's just like a lot of information, but the next ones there will be more into like subjects, so we would be able to dive more deeper into certain subjects that our viewers and our participants have sort of started to tell us there in the questions. So thank you all, and I'll just give you a little synopsis of what's coming up next. The 20th of November, mark it down, Maggie Alphonsi, who is a pioneering figure in women's rugby, celebrated for her exceptional playing career and her continued impact as a commentator, speaker, and ambassador. We will be exploring how she overcame adversity in elite sport. So she will be joining us. And on the 18th of December, it'll be Lex Gillette, the best totally blind, long and triple jumper in the history of U.S. Paralympic movement. He has shown the world that vision, the kind that provides direction and inspires innovative thinking, unlocks the achiever and the leader within. So really interesting topics coming up. So join us for those. Keep an eye out for your invitation for the next webinar in the UpWind Speaker Series. thank you for joining us. Thank you to you guys too. Thank you so much, and see you next time.